Hi, welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we have an older Malibu that we're working on, and the complaint the customer has is that when they drive the vehicle it feels like it moves around, like they hit a bump and it jumps to the one side or the other side. After lifting it up here on the lift, I can see that there's a problem right here. So now we're going to take the wheel off. Let's take a look at the front end and we're going to figure out what's wrong with it. I already know that it's going to be the tie rod end because when I went underneath there before and looked at it, I could see there's a lot of movement in the outer tie rod end. So we're going to be changing the tie rod ends. So let's get these wheels off and let's continue. All right, don't forget, subscribe to my channel and give me the big thumbs up. Before I get started, I just want to show you exactly what I'm going to be doing. We're going to be taking off, I'll show you. We're going to be removing the tie rod end right here. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to use a socket to air gun this off, or a regular socket, whatever you've got. It's probably an 18 millimeter. So we're going to shoot this off, and then this nut over here, we're just going to loosen it. We're not going to remove it. We're just going to crack it loose, and then we're going to take the tie rod end out of the knuckle, and we're going to rotate it out, count how many revolutions you take it out, and then we're going to put it back together. So let me grab some tools. Let's spray it up with some WD-40, and let's get started. Okay, remember what I said, just give everything a good spray so that it actually turns and comes out without any kind of problems. And that's it. A couple of basic tools you're going to need, nothing crazy. You're going to need a mechanic's best friend, better known as a hammer. We'll need a socket for the air gun, which is going to be probably an 18 millimeter. We're going to use the, this is 7/8 or 7/8 to break that nut loose on the tie rod end here, which is just going to break it loose. And these are the tools you're going to need to separate the tie rod end usually. I don't use either one of them. I don't put this in the impact gun, and I don't use the fork to separate it. What I basically do is once I remove this nut right here, you hit right here really pretty firmly with the hammer, and this tie rod end will pop right out. So, all right, let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to break this nut loose right here first. These are usually pretty tight. What I usually do is just put a wrench on it like this here, and then take a hammer and just tap on the wrench and it snaps it loose. Pretty easily. Not really a big deal. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that nut off on the bottom. I am going to use the air gun because it's going to save a little bit of time, but if you don't have an air gun, then you can take this off with a ratchet, and if this stem spins, you can hold the end of it right down here. You'll notice that this is an 8 millimeter nut right here. So if you have to, you hold that with a ratchet, and then you take this off with a wrench. But I'm not going to do that. It should come right out with an air gun. So we're going to shoot that off, and we're going to continue on it. Now, if you were doing that and it got stuck, then you just hold the bottom right here. Now, remember what I told you about the mechanic's best friend? This is it right here. And the bigger, the better. We're going to hit it right here a couple of times really pretty firmly, and this will pop right out. You see it's tight. Hit it here and it pops out. That's it. And that's been in there for a heck of a long time, probably since the car was new. All right? Next thing we're going to do, when you take out the tie rod end, count how many times you rotate it off. That way we'll put the new one in the same amount of revolutions. And again, we have our lock nut right here, so it'll usually butt right up against that nut. So let's count it and take it off. "14 revolutions. So let's grab our new one. Let's put the new one on. Remember, a little bit of grease saves a lot of headaches later on, so just lubricate it just a little bit, and let's wrap it up. Remember, 14, right? All right, 14. Now we're going to take this nut off right here. This is just a cover to keep the boot from being damaged. And then we put this through the frame. Take note where your cotter pin hole is here, because later on it'll be easier to put it on, so you know exactly where it is, where the cotter pin hole is. All right. Now, next thing we're going to do, you'll notice that it comes with you're going to notice that the replacement comes with a new nut for the inner, a washer, and a cotter pin. And what you're going to do, make sure you use your washer, because if you don't use this washer, the nut will eat up. The nut will eat up the aluminum knuckle. All right? So now you can tighten that in with a ratchet, or if you have an air gun, you can shoot it on with an air gun. I'm going to tighten it in with the ratchet just so I like the feel of actually tightening it in by hand myself. But you can use the air gun. Okay. Once you have that tightened, then you put your cotter pin back through the hole that's made for it. Push it through. Then the cotter pin over like this. And the last thing you're going to do is you're going to snug this nut up right here. Now, we are going to have the alignment reset in this car, so we're just going to tighten this up temporarily before we do our alignment. All right, nice and tight. All right, so that's it. Nut's tight, tie rod's counted on the correct revolutions. The bolt here is tight, our cotter pin is through, and our washer is underneath the nut so we don't damage the knuckle. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the other side, and we're going to duplicate that on the other side. All right, thanks for watching. Questions, comments, you drop me a line. Be more than happy to talk to you about anything. As always, see you on the next one.